Good evening. The regular meeting of the Richmond Board of Education will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Share your mission statement, please.
At Richmond Community Schools, we provide a quality education that empowers students to be successful in a global community.
Thank you. Roll call.
Sandy? Here. Danielle? Here. Angela? Here. Kelly? Here. Deb?
Here.
Margaret? Here. And I'm here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. I need a second.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just like to point out, each board member received an updated personnel report regarding the transactions that came through today. There was some new hires as well as some resignations.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion? Brian?
Okay, we have some resignations that were that I'll announce. Lori Delmani, she was one of the bus drivers the board previously hired. She resigned during the training part of the bus driver certification. This morning, added to your packet, Rebecca Hercules is leaving to go to Algonac Schools. Dan Hill resigned as Junior Varsity Boys Basketball Coach. You'll see an appointment later on. Custodians Brendan Shear, Judy Starr, and Cheyenne Warden are also resigning. John Van Gambelier, the first robotics coach, will be resigning at the end of this season in June. Autumn Walters, the spelling bee coordinator, Schedule B, will be resigning from that position this year. We had one termination, Nicholas Novak. He was hired by the board, but never completed any of the process, and communication has stopped with this individual. So, new hires, Stephanie Gabrala, secretary. You'll see her effective date is December 27th. However, we're trying to coordinate training during the break so that she can start on January 3rd. In conversations with the secretarial union as well as the two administrators at Lee and the middle school, Mrs. Gabrella will go to the middle school, and Mrs. Pinsky has asked to return to the elementary school. So we'll make it after the first of the year. Linda Spivka has been hired as a teacher at the middle school, and Nancy Welch has been hired as a bus driver. Nancy Welch is fully licensed and ready to drive. So we'll be looking at the transportation schedules regarding that position. Other appointments, as you can see in your board backup, Chase Churchill has been appointed to the Junior Varsity Boys Basketball Coach position. Brendan Dolan, the freshman basketball position. Chase was the freshman and Brendan was I believe the 8th grade last year, and they moved up. Brandon Day, evening coordinator for winter. And Glenda Noack Owen is one of the assistant cooks. That is what we consider a fill-in when there's absences. There were no errors brought to my attention regarding the minutes of the 28th regular board meeting or the 5th special board meeting. And then I received no questions or concerns regarding the, claims and accounts that are for November.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Walmsley?
So that means that the new bus driver, all the training stuff doesn't need to happen? That person
She's
immediately
already
starts.
licensed and ready to drive.
And so when you said about the what did you say, the schedule or whatever, the routes?
So our goal is to get enough bus drivers that we can bring back one of the routes that was eliminated because of a shortage of bus drivers. So I'll be sitting down with Susie to see where we are in that process, and then how we're going to communicate that to parents if we are able to bring it back. But that is what we're trying to do.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, Mr. Walmsley, do you have a bond update?
My bond update is relatively short because we are near completion of the first 3 years. As I mentioned in a previous board meeting, we are in the process of working for this summer 23's bond work, which was scheduled to go out to bid in January and then come to the board probably in February and March for awarding. But I do want to update the board that last week we began looking at what we've accomplished in this bond and begin comparing it to what was done in 2014 to what was done back in 1996 when that bond passed. So we have begun, I don't want to say a needs assessment, that's not appropriate, but looking at future where we would see potential needs. Like for instance, this room here, the auditorium, or this library was put on in 14. There's things that are starting to occur, but they're not yet at a replacement. So my team is, and I say my team, working with Preston Trent, the architect, and the Hawk to begin developing that, which I will be bringing to the board at a future date of here's what we've done, here's what we've completed, and here's things that need to be on the radar because they will need to be addressed in the near future. We do have some roofs that in the original bond were not to be done until 28-32. So again, it's just to kind of create a picture for the board and the community on what we've done and what needs to be on everybody's mind for the future.
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Our presentations, our first one this evening is our food service presentation.
So Mrs. Guinea's here. Maybe you're going to help her out? I'm going to do the slide. This started with a conversation. Come on up, Kathy. This is Kathy Guinea, our food service director. You know Tammy Shadd, our business director. This started with a conversation with actually Angela several months ago regarding just our options we're providing students. And it and options we provide students and what we can do to improve our menu and become more healthier and less additives and preservatives in our food and make our nutrition program grow and become better. So this time I'll turn it over to Kathy.
As Mr. Wansley said, I'm Kathy Guinea, Food Service Director here at Richmond Community Schools. I am excited to be here to present this PowerPoint to you to show you the upcoming changes that we have. All of this will be taking effect in January. I've spoken to our 3 head cooks. They're all on board, and we're really excited to get started. So if we move over to the first slide, the top picture, you will see our basic breakfast options. We have muffins, Pop-Tarts, cereal, fruit pies. Everything's individually wrapped and easy to grab. To the left outside of that picture, you would find a variety of fruits and dairy products to complete a healthy breakfast. Below that, you will see a bowl of oatmeal and a dish of scrambled eggs. I've added brown sugar and peaches to the oatmeal and shredded cheddar to the egg dish to make it more appealing. These options are sustainable in the long run, providing that the kids do accept them. So I'm really excited to bring them on board to offer healthier choices, and we really want to see how that's going to go. So if we move over to the second slide, you're going to see the current December high school menu. I have highlighted in red all of the items that are low or have no preservatives in them. And those items are pretty much all our fruits and vegetables, our hot items, corn, carrots, broccoli, green beans, a variety of different fruits. So we're looking to upgrade this and move some of the red area up into our entrees, which we'll see in a couple more slides. So currently on the left, you'll see what we are currently serving. The top picture is turkey salad. We normally serve our salads with lunch meat or chicken. We're going to remove those and add eggs, fresh boiled eggs, and shredded cheese. That will fulfill the protein requirement and provide a healthier option. Next, we have both the chicken tenders and the chicken nuggets. Both of those are highly processed. We're going to move over to a whole muscle product, which has It's definitely more healthier, it tastes better, it's got better eye appeal. I'm hoping that the students feel the same. And then last, we have our taco meat, which we serve in a bag, or actually it comes in a bag, and we prep it from that. We're going to change that up, and the cooks are going to make their own taco meat with crumbled burger and taco seasoning. This will give us a cleaner product and a healthier product as well. Our floater. This slide is thanks to our fairly new floater. Without this person, we wouldn't have the time to do this. These are USDA recipes, recommended. We are going to have our floater start off making the stock. So this will be a 100% homemade recipe. And with the weather, perfect time to bring it in. It's cold, the soups will warm you out. But I'm hoping that these will go over well. The students will let us know. So next slide. Next slide.
That's the last one I mentioned.
It's on his screen, but it's not on your screen.
Okay.
There it is.
That's right.
Okay, so that brings us to our January menu where all of these items are going to come into effect. As you see, some of the red has gravitated up onto our main entrees. I do receive regular emails from child nutrition advocates. So I'm always seeing new recipes and new ideas that I hope to include further down the line. Let's see.
You have the breakfast expansion grant.
Yes, I did apply for the breakfast expansion grant. That's to help improve our breakfast. I do plan on doing some student taste tests with that. Give us a better idea on what the kids do like. So I'm hoping that'll go over well.
And what would that add? Add some meats into the breakfast?
Yes, that would bring some more protein into the breakfast. Protein is where you get the most cost. So that grant would definitely come in handy to improve our breakfast.
And at least improve it in a way where we taste test it with the kids to know that it's things that they like.
So what I'd like just to add is Mrs. Guinea went and had some conversations with some of our head cooks to figure out what's feasible in the space, what's doable. And so that's been our focus on trying to look at the items on the menu to see if we can provide a more healthier, less preservative option.
Does anyone have any questions?
Do we ever do surveys asking the kids, you know, like with the grant, there's stuff you're going to be able to try, but do we ever do surveys of the kids, what kind of foods would they like?
I haven't seen any since I've been here.
Okay.
But that's what I'm looking to do.
Okay.
And I noticed you have a salad bar added, so to this point, we haven't had a salad bar?
No, we have had a salad bar.
Got it.
And our salads are their main entrees. They're put together so that the protein's already there.
Got it.
So that we meet that requirement. My kids aren't getting too much or too little.
Got it. So they're prepared then?
Yes, we still plan on putting the meat salads out there. All these items are in addition to what we're already serving.
Okay.
We don't know how it's going to go, so we don't really want to lose our
Right.
sales.
Right.
But we'll see how that goes. So, all of these options outside of the chicken are sustainable as long as the children will accept them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I know it's been a huge thing for me as far as preservatives and certain supplements in students' food. I do feel that can even affect their academics and their behavior during class. So I really appreciate. I look forward to see the progression of this and to see how it trickles through the district beyond just, they're enjoying lunch, and hopefully we'll see it through our academics and attendance as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent.
And just so the board knows, when we sat down and looked at this, there is a cost increase because there's, obviously when you go to the grocery store and you buy one product over the other, there's an increase. But it's nothing in this that we feel is a concern to any of the budgetary constraints that we have for the food service. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions?
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you both for.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Tammy.
Okay, our next presentation of the evening is our instruction spotlight on our early child education program.
And co-presenting is our tech lead.
On podium. No, it's coming from there. It's on the podium. I can put it on mine.
It's really been hard to hear too. Is the microphone really working?
Test.
Right there.
So I can read it now.
I'm locked. I won't let me close it.
Can we just start with the pictures?
Is it his or is it
Right. Thank you.
Today's presentation is going to be on Richmond's Early Childhood Learning Center. We have amazing and great things happening with our littlest learners. Here with us, we have our Director of Early Learning Center and our Dean of Students, Mr. Gibson. And we have our GSRP lead teacher, Ms. Laura Ottenbacher, here to co-present. Here's just a snapshot of our preschool enrollment trend. You can see back in 2018, we started off with just 60 students, and at the end, currently this year, we have doubled. We're at 122 students currently right now. We just had 2 more enroll. And this is kind of the breakdown of the different programs in their enrollment trend, which I found very fascinating. You can see the orange line is our GSRP enrollment, the red line being our 3-year-old program, and the yellow line being our 4-year-old program. And just how each individual program has been able to grow as well. So different trends of our programs.
And just keep in mind for the board, we added the GSRP classroom this year, so we now have 4 sections of GSRP.
So this year we are starting our professional development learning series on the essential instructional literacy practices. This is a framework from the General Education Leadership Network. It is our GELN literacy practices. This goes all the way from birth to age 3, preschool, kindergarten, primary, intermediate, and then it goes into the secondary disciplinary learning series. So it's a K through 12 literacy framework that our teachers are embarking on a professional development journey to be able to really dive deep into these 10 practices that research shows can have the most positive impact on literacy development. I kind of touched on that.
Good evening. As part of our curriculum, teachers will actually be attending training for the creative curriculum for preschool. It incorporates 38 objectives for development and learning that are predictors of school success. They start that training this week on Friday, and then they also have another training in January. We'll go to the MISD for that training. So we are excited about them getting that training. We have some new staff members, so it's important that we get them up to speed on the curriculum. So we're excited about that. Next slide. So just kind of giving you a summary of the school year so far. This year we brought together some social events for our preschoolers and our families. The summer event was called Books on the Beach. As you heard from Mrs. Staples, we're pushing early literacy initiatives in our preschool program, and several teachers read books to our students. Students were given books to take home along with some beach toys, and it was a perfect summer day for it. We were able to enjoy some snow cones and play some fun games outside, and it was just nice for the families to mingle and enjoy that nice weather, so it was a nice event. In October, preschool enjoyed a trip to Westview Orchards for their annual fall field trip. It was another awesome day weather-wise. We've been fortunate this year with the weather. Last year, most people who went probably remember that it was more like a monsoon and with some rain and some wind. So it was nice to have that nice weather this year, and students were able to enjoy a wagon ride, and the students had a lot of fun with their families as well. In November, in November, our students enjoyed a nice Thanksgiving feast with their teachers and their classmates in the cafeteria, and then we also held our fall social. Students were able to enjoy some cider and donuts and work on a craft with their parents and their families before heading off to Thanksgiving break. I also read a story to the students, How to Catch a Turkey, and they were able to take home some goodies along with another book to read for our early literacy initiative there. So as we wrap up December, we actually are having our Christmas program on Monday, December 19th. Students will be rehearsing every day this week down in the cafeteria. They had their first rehearsal today, and they were amazing. So we're excited to have this event actually in person for the first time in several years, so that's going to be exciting. And tuition, preschool students will begin at 8:45 that morning, followed by our GSRP students, and all of our families and parents and grandparents are all invited, so we're excited. Going back to the socials, both socials were very well attended. It has been nice being able to get together as a community with our families, just to get to know the parents, know future students that could be joining us. We're in the process of planning our winter social for February. There are some big ideas and plans in the work with our staff.
You actually have some backup documentation of a very special flyer in there. And I think that when Mr. Gibson actually told the families about this social, literally there was no words. It was just a, ooh. Like literally that was the what happened in that room. Because it is going to be a winter formal. So we're encouraging staff, students, families to all dress up and come for a wonderful night where we are going to embark on some early literacy, of course, because all this is around early literacy, engagement with each other, communication and peers, and just having a great time.
Yeah, as you know, staff has been amazing. They come up with a lot of great ideas. And as I bring up the staff, I just want to mention what an amazing preschool staff we have. They're always bringing new ideas to the table, attending additional events like these socials, and they do an amazing job. So I just wanted to give them a special shout out. And at this time, I'd like to introduce one of our amazing preschool teachers, Mrs. Ottenbacher. She is a lead teacher in one of our 4 GSRP classrooms now, and she's going to speak about the Hatch computers that we would like to purchase for our 4-year-old programs and how they fit with our current preschool curriculum and how they tie into that. So,
Thank you. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to see you all, and personally thank you because I don't have the opportunity to see you all in this type of event. As a mother of 4 Blue Devils, I appreciate all your hard work and everything you do. As a proud Richmond High School graduate, I am proud to be a preschool teacher for our school district. So very passionate about our program and happy to advocate for anything amazing for our program. So with my experience of the Hatch computers, what it is basically a child accessible computer. It's not for the teachers. It's strictly for the students. When they access it, they are able to identify their personal login by identifying their picture, and it talks them through, letter identification. It goes through every single domain from start to finish, and it personally individualizes each child's capabilities and lets them continue with their learning. Obviously, your teachers, preschool teachers of today are inventive, they're highly educated, and we have an amazing curriculum already. We have an amazing assessment already that we use, and we take kindergarten readiness very serious. But this computer will allow us to supplement that. Even go like that. I mean, maybe it could be like our NWEA of preschool, essentially, right? So it's kind of a good. Next slide, please. So this is a picture of what it looks like. It comes in different formats, but what we're looking to buy is the middle one, which is the desktop. It is a touchscreen computer, but it also has mouse capability. The NWEA has a mouse required assessment tool. So preschool teachers have to teach children how to use a mouse. Obviously, that's very, very important. That seems so silly, but if you don't know how to use a mouse, you're just going to keep clicking, and it's probably not going to be the answer that truly is the one you know, right? Next slide, please. So these are just, the next couple slides are a summary. Go ahead.
It's a snapshot of what the program can look like. You can see that, with our littlest learners, they make so much growth, especially in preschool, kindergarten. We know that children grow the most during those age groups. So you can see their progress from 30 days, 60, 90 days, and from a snapshot over an entire year. To see their different skills, to see where they may be emerging, where they may need support, and where they're actually already accelerating in certain domains. So you can see a snapshot of where they are as far as certain categories, where they started, where they're exiting, and then in each of the different domains of what they might be able to do and what they still might need help on. So that also great data transition into kindergarten, so that our kindergarten teachers can have already a snapshot of what our students are capable of doing, as well as what they might come in with and still be able, need some help. And then this is a class view of what that's going to look like, is all of that data, as well as the play schedule, because kids don't realize that they're being assessed. And so you can actually see the play schedule that comes up and gives suggestions as far as who should be on the next rotation, because we know that, especially in preschool, we know that they're not going to play on the computer. It needs to be a well-diverse curriculum so that there's tons of hands-on, as well as being able to do this for 5 minutes.
So in a nutshell, this is just a supplemental device. This isn't something that we're replacing or taking away anything. When you walk into a classroom in the amazing preschool wing that we have, you're going to walk in and you're going to see children playing. Yes, of course, we don't just play. It's very intentional playing. We're scaffolding children to think higher level learning. We're walking around the room. We say, hey, Johnny, I've seen you've been really playing in the blocks area today. And how high can you make this with this or use this? And so it's a teaching tool to allow children to be like, hey, it's your turn on the computer today. Let's see where you're at. Because we're still using the same assessments. The teachers are still going to use what they use by doing one-on-one assessments. They're still going to be observing and documenting. I see Johnny do this. And they don't even know that you're writing things down. But this is going to be able to help us prove what we already know and to get them to advance them at their developmental level, continuing. So, like I said, it's a digital platform. It's built to promote growth and development across the entire domains of our learning. It delivers real-time data. So it allows us for daily individualized instruction and provides evidence of developmentally appropriate assessment systems. So the teachers can use what the computer tells us about Johnny. Johnny sat down at the computer for 2 minutes and he played a math game. And we're not going to say you have to sit down for 10 minutes and play this math game. You're going to let him play as long as he's interested, just like he would in the block area or at the art area. But it's going to catch real life data right then, and that's going to allow the teachers to say, okay, I noticed across the board with the assessments and learnings that I already have, and then with this beautiful Hatch computer to make individualized lesson plans to gear our learning to move forward. Next slide, please. So, like our creative curriculum is what we use. It tells us with research and theory that how children work. It encompasses that with the interest areas in the middle of the diagram, that you have to have all these key components of interest to promote that children are learning effectively through play with all these different dynamics and computers is on there. So, next slide, please. So, a success story of the Hatch computer, the graph below basically shows that children that came in at a level 1 using the Hatch computer. They use the Hatch computer for the entire year in an age-appropriate way, in an interest of their level. They grew to a level 4, which is used to be considered kindergarten entry assessment level. And 50% of those children reach kindergarten readiness on an average of 54% over the 4 learning the 7 domains, and then 72% of the children have shown growth in across. So not everybody's getting there, but we're all showing growth and development. Next slide, please. So I took a couple of statements from my peers, my colleagues, whom I respect so very much. So Elise Cook said that she has used the Hatch computer in the past, and it was a great tool to give us a direct insight into each children's ability without testing them. You know, we want to get away from, Johnny, what color is this? Johnny, what letter is this? You know, we want to really, truly dive into their brains to know where they're at. It would allow us to combine data with our daily observations to drive our lesson plans. It allows us to focus even more on our students' individual daily needs. Caitlin Chmielewski said that what she loves most about the Hatch computer is that it provides the children with a fun technology and learning experience, and it helps collect the most real-time data. And Tricia Schwartz, our newest team member for the GSRP program, is excited about the opportunity to add Hatch computers to our classroom environment and to have the ability to seamlessly connect our assessment tool Teaching Strategies Goal while the children are playing an educational game. So I am excited for the possibility to use these, and I think that it would really make us a mainstream, one step more advanced, amazing program. So thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about preschool programs or any of the
have a
initiatives
question.
we'd like to start?
Is it directly connected to teaching strategies or?
Yeah, so when Johnny plays on the computer for his 20 minutes and plays a math game, it automatically connects to our teaching strategies goal. So it takes real observation. So
And there's a lot of reportable standards that our preschool teachers are responsible for each year. It goes right into that system, and like I said, it can be used for parent communication. It can be used for our kindergarten team to see where our students are at the beginning of the year instead of waiting for a few weeks after NWEA, things like that.
Yeah, our kindergarten teachers will know exactly where they're at when they're coming up based on this data they can look at. So.
even more so.
And what, so I'm assuming literacy math?
Oh,
already,
yes.
all of it?
Even like,
How do you get social
like
emotion?
self-awareness, communication, vocabulary. I mean, there's a total list of all the domains in which it hits. that is directly correlated to the preschool standards.
So for social emotional, they'll have a kind of, it's all like very child appropriately, like scenario. So they'll read them a story, they'll walk through the story, and they'll be like, you know, how did Johnny feel when Cynthia took the ball? And they'll be like, did he feel sad? You know, and kind of just talk them through those social emotional.
Thank you. Well, I guess my question is that when are we looking that we want this? And are you going to come to us with?
It would come to you in the meeting in January for approval.
Okay. So it would be something we want to purchase to get started before the school year's out. It's not something, you're not talking for next year. Okay, no, that's what I want to know. Okay.
And it all is funded through GSRP funds.
Right. Okay.
Are we currently using any technology in the GSRP classrooms at the moment?
So we have the smart boards, is that the correct terminology these days? I'm not really technology, vocabulary study. Yes, we use the boards, and they're actually amazing, to be honest, like to see from when we didn't have a smart board to where we've had a smart board in preschool. To be honest, it blows my mind because I'm learning right along with them. The smart board's amazing as well. Today I had froze the screen and had a ABCD, you know, fill in the blank, and we were saying the ABCs, what comes next? And then they had their whiteboards, and they were like, C, and I was like, write a C, and then we wrote a C. I mean, it's fantastic. So technology, yes, we do that, and then we do have some laptops that we rotate and use. Yeah, we do. Yep, some touch.
And how many are you asking for the classroom? Would it be one computer per classroom?
One computer per classroom, and a HAP specialist is the one that comes in and actually sets it up.
Oh, okay.
The business is the previous company or the business that I worked with once before. They come in, they set it all up, they train the teachers how to use it, and if you have a question, you have a direct access person to call and be like, I have this question, it's not syncing my data to my assessment, please help me. And they are fantastic to work with. It's a great company.
And the subscription would be a 3-year subscription.
So do they have access to our student data, our student information?
All of our data is housed here at Richmond. So it's not going to any other company. Everything that we accumulate, just like any kind of formative assessment that any teacher would take, that data is collected for our internal use only.
Any other question?
Is this something, is it specific to those computers, or is it something they could do at home, like on their own computer?
It is specific to the Hatch computer because it's a very smart technology that recognizes their face and where they're at and things like that. Now, it does have an app, a continuation that you can get to kind of help supplement for parents on their phones and iPads that they can also use and play. And that too will be in your backup documentation in January. But there is an app that's correlated. It's not as fancy as the one that's built in with the actual system. But there is an app that kids are going to be able to play with at home and on iPads or parents' phones and things.
Any other comments, questions?
Are we going to be able to see all the different aspects of the programs? You said there was like social emotional learning and literacy, and is there like a whole list of these are all the different topics that are going to be covered?
Yeah, it's directly correlated to all the preschool gold standards.
Okay.
So as well as in the backup documentation, there'll be a packet about all of the program and the computers and things like that.
Is this in that document you have? So in your board packet, you have, I think, a black and white copy. The already says more insight, less complexity. That's the backup for this.
Yeah.
Just wanted to thank you for letting us present tonight.
Thank you.
As you can see, our program is growing. It's very exciting. As we talked about earlier, we have 4 GSRP classrooms now. All of them are full. We have actually 2 on the waiting list, and as you mentioned earlier, we had 2 new little ones start today. So I think at 122 would be our new number. So now the key is we have this growth. We want to sustain it. So we got to get our teachers, obviously, the proper training, and then give them the tools in the classroom that's going to help push our students not only forward, socially, emotionally, and socially, but academically as well. So thank you for your consideration here.
Quick question, how many students do you have in each room, average?
So it depends. In each GSRP classroom, we have 16 students.
And that's the max that you can have
That's
for
what I was
GSRP.
wondering.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's limits for the 3-year-old and 4-year-old. 3-year-old, I think it's 8 before you have to put an 8 in the classroom, and
Right.
10, I believe, for 4-year-old before you have to put an 8 there. So,
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great
Thank you.
job.
Thanks.
Okay, our next item on our agenda is public comments. Since the last board meeting, I received one email from a parent about the district's handling of a discipline issue. Mr. Walmsley responded to this parent. I received several thank you cards from the food service staff, the media center staff, and the secretarial staff, thanking the board for approving their wage increase. Otherwise, nothing else has come to me. At this time, any member of the public may address the board. Please sign in, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes. Are there any public comments?
Good evening, President Shen, members of the board, members of the community. Thank you for your time. My name is Darlene McNichol. I'd like to share some concern with you. At the last board meeting in November, my name was presented as resigned, and no title was given or indication of a position, unlike the other personnel mentioned for the good of the general public. I feel it's important to present some facts for clarification. Currently, and since November 2nd, I have been on paid administrative leave with the Richmond Community School District. This continues through January 17th, 2023. Please note that my resignation took effect and takes effect on January 17th, 2023, from the 4th grade teaching position at Richmond Middle School. I wondered if it was a little premature that in the personnel report at that time that the agenda was approved with consensus without facts or description of the individual personnel changes that were stated at the meeting. I understand you get your board packets and you may have known that, but the general public did not know that my resignation was of January 17th. Since that time, I have received proof in the form of legal documents that the information that I based my coerced decision on was false. These are legal documents. In addition, I feel I was harassed and intimidated to obtain my resignation. And I feel that it could be a violation of ethics, employee ethics and standards. Due to those changes in circumstances, I am requesting that I be allowed to retract my resignation and be reinstated in the 4th grade teaching position in the classroom where I belong with honesty and dignity for the benefit of our children. I am passionate about Richmond Community Schools. I have worked in the district for over 7 years. I was frowned upon because I wasn't a teacher for 5 years, but I have worked in the district for 5 years full time. I am here as a graduate of Richmond Community Schools who walk the halls every day, K through 12. 4 generations of my family attended Richmond Community Schools, as far back as my grandfather who settled in this town. We are passionate about this district. I'm not here to hurt children or to be accused of anything that I didn't do. Though the investigation seems to have been completed on me with the police reports in the November 20th board meeting, there is still some uncertainty about my employment status, expectations, and job responsibilities. Despite a refusal to be put on the agenda to request an investigation with clarification, questions are still unanswered about me. I was told that I must complete lesson plans daily, even though I have not been in the classroom since November 2nd. That's over a month and a half ago. I am not permitted to communicate with other people other than Mr. Walmsley, Mr. Thiel, or union representation. I am not allowed on campus freely for any reason, including public recreation, or to support our Blue Devils in athletics, or even to speak freely in a community in which my family and I have resided for over 50 years. I am requesting an investigation by the board to prevent any conflict of interest in parties involved in my resignation. Any of the information that I have collected is available to the board upon request for review and clarification. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate your listening to me. Thank you.
Do I have any other public comments this evening?
Right up by your mouth.
My name is Michaela Marie Maxwell, and I'm in 4th grade. My teacher's Miss McNichol, but she isn't in the school anymore. She was a nice, kind, loving teacher. She didn't do anything wrong at all. She's a good teacher, no matter what. She'll always be there for you and be kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Christina Turchi. I am here again in regards to my daughter, who you just met. She's 4th grade in Miss McNichol's class, and yes, I'm going to say she's in Miss McNichol's class because that is where she belongs. She belongs to be in that classroom again. For the last 3 to 4 years, my daughter has had her fair share of struggles, thanks to COVID. But in 3rd grade, she started to do better. Now in 4th grade with Miss McNichol, she became better and better with every subject in school, especially her reading, which she struggled the most. She now is back to struggling in big time with having a substitute in her class. When she was with Miss McNichol, she was receiving P's, which is proficient, and AP's, which I don't know what that stands for, but I know it's a good thing. It's the best one you can get. But now, with a substitute, everything's coming home with PP's and NP's. So my daughter is technically failing according to your standards. And I have the proof right here. These, all right here, are papers sent home from Miss McNichol that have P's and AP's on them. These are from a substitute that, from my knowledge, isn't supposed to be grading. And they are NP's and P's. Or I mean PP's. My child and many other children in that classroom deserve much better. I am not here to disrespect the substitute because I don't know her, but I know that my child is struggling and struggling hard. Miss McNichol deserves to be in that classroom. And I request that you all look deeply into bringing her back into our school. I am also requesting the board to not approve Mr. Walmsley's review tonight. I'm also requesting the board to do an in-depth investigation into Mr. Walmsley and his handling of the situation that my daughter was a witness to. Because my daughter was interrogated 2 days in a row without my knowledge and is now part of a police report that you all handed over her statement to, that I was unaware of that she was in this report. I'm not happy with any of this. It is unacceptable. So I request you all look deeply into this situation and other situations that parents have brought to you in regards to Mr. Walmsley and the school district. And I request you do better to our students of this school.
Do I have any other public comments?
My name is Peter Galante, 92 graduated from Richmond. It's a great place to grow up. When we came here, we knew who our teachers were going to be years in advance. They were here when we got here, and they were here long after we moved on. Now the school has a very high rate of turnover. Why? You know, at a time when schools are having a hard time getting teachers, staff, this school pushes them away. Why should this poor lady have to come here and fight for a job when she wants to be here? You know, I ask you why. I looked over all the school's policies. All I ask is that you investigate these, investigate all these complaints, and just uphold the policies you all sworn to uphold. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Thank you. This time we will move on to our superintendent and legislative update. Mr. Walmsley?
Thank you. I'll start with the legislative update. As the school community expected, it's been a quiet lame duck. And if it was even possible, it was quieter this year than it's ever been. Despite the House going into the early hours last Thursday, very little was done other than goodbye speeches and by outgoing legislators. There were a handful of education bills that were passed last week and are on their way to the governor's office for signature. House Bill 4188 creates a fixed annuity option in the Michigan Public School Employee Retirement Act, which is another option for teachers. House Bill 5777 requires the Michigan Department of Education to create resources and tools for parents of children aged birth to 5 who are deaf and hard of hearing. It also requires the districts and MISU to implement these tools by September 1st, 2025. House Bill 6042 would require districts to share blueprints, which we currently do, or critical incident mapping for each building with law enforcement and other school safety response plans with them, which is part of what we currently do in Richmond. Both chambers have now adjourned for the year, with the official final day of the session to be on December 28th. This date is set because any bills that do not have a specific day mentioned to them go into effect 90 days or March 28th in 2023. Like the school committee, like the rest of the state, we will be watching the legislative action next year as Democrats take control of the House and Senate. Legislative agenda is most certainly going to look different next year than it has in recent years. New legislators start on January 11th with a ceremonial swearing in of the 102nd legislature, with the governor, lieutenant governor, and other statewide offices being sworn in at a ceremony on January 1st. So wait and see what the education policies will come out of Lansing. District update. Let's first start off at Lee Elementary School as reported by Mrs. Manguni. Kindergarten teachers attended a phonemic awareness training at the Macomb Intermediate School District on December 8th. I want to thank this building substitutes and to allow the teachers to attend and grow professionally. Santa Shop begins this week. One of the things that they did was Penny Wars. I don't know if that was the official name, but it's a similar concept, where every student is able now to have money to shop at the Santa Shop this week so that no student feels left out of not being able to go to the Santa Shop. So it's truly a season of giving at Lee Elementary School. And you may be familiar with Elf on a Shelf. Lee Elementary School has their very own elves, Jingle and Bells, who have been watching the outstanding behavior of students in the hallways. From the middle school, as reported by Ms. Morella, on December 6th, last week, the middle school band, along with the high school band under the direction of Mrs. Shack, held their annual holiday concert. While I was not able to attend that report, I did watch it on the YouTube, thanks to Richmond TV. It was outstanding. It was another great performance by our students. Today, Monday, December 12th, the middle school students began participating in the Christmas Battle of the Bays. Students will decorate their lockers and will be judged by their grade levels on the Christmas spirit and creativity. The Richmond Middle School Student Council wrapped up their food drive last week, and the Richmond Lennox EMS was at the building to pick up the items donated. They'll go to the Richmond Lions Club, who will be delivering those to needy families in our community this weekend. On Thursday, January 5th, shortly after we return from the holiday break, Principal Morella and our dean of students, Michael Woodberg, who begins tomorrow, are planning a meet and greet with parents from 6 to 8. There'll be different grade levels assigned so that we can accommodate the size. So parents look for that information as it's going to come home from Principal Morella and Dean of Students Woodberg. At the high school, Mrs. Abel reports the high school was selected for the MISD pupil accounting audit, which was conducted last week. If you've ever gone through one of these as a school employee, it's a lot of work and a lot of stress, but I'm happy to report the high school received a G1 rating, which is the highest a school may receive. So special thank yous go to our two secretary, Ms. Mary and Ms. Joanne, our administrators, Ms. Zabo and Ms. Borwick, and all the teachers who were selected to be interviewed, Ms. Kara, Dr. Ladd, Ms. Shagna. From organizing and requiring documents to reporting the processes and procedures in place for pupil accounting compliance, the high school staff did an outstanding job. So I want to thank them. I'd also like to thank our community liaison and Power School coordinator, Sarah Ogden. She worked with the building very closely to get them ready for this audit. SAT workshops are back and in person at the MISD, and information regarding this was sent home to 11th grade parents. There are 4 days offered this year. Registration is $50. Any Richmond family who wants their student to attend can. If there's an issue or can't afford the $50, to contact the principal. We will arrange for any student to attend regardless of the dollars. The computer programming students, which is a new course this year, went to Lee Elementary School to support the Hour of Code last week, which was, they also attended esports conference at Oakland University on Friday, December 9th. And we look forward to the district's participation in the esports. The district art show was up and available and in the lobby of the high school auditorium for the band concert. It will also be there this Thursday for the choir concert on December 15th. High School Spirit Week is next week. Monday, December 19th is Holiday Pajama Day. Tuesday, the 20th is Holiday in Hawaii. Wednesday, the 21st is Holiday Accessory Day. And Thursday, the 22nd is the Ugly Sweater Day. The high school will also be holding a scavenger hunt and door decorating contest next week. Now at the district level, last week I was able to hold the first of 2 meetings with staff. We called it the conversation with the conversation with the superintendent on the state of the district. There was about 25 staff members who attended the meeting. I found it very highly informative for staff, getting insight from them on various aspects of the organization, with the overall intent to improve the learning environment for our students, as well as the overall work environment for staff. I want to thank those who participated, and the next one is scheduled for tomorrow. Richmond High School Culinary Arts Pro students competed in the Macomb Schools and Government Credit Union Appreciation Lunch and Dessert Competition on December 8th at the Italian American Cultural Center and Cultural Society and Banquet Center in Clinton Township. Under the direction of Chef Duran, the culinary students competed with other Macomb County culinary programs. This was the first time ours competed in this student. So recognition goes out to Kyra Schwartz, Isabella Davalier, Casey Malberg, Ella Allen, Gabby Machovic, and Riley Jocks, who competed in the program. What they made is in front of you. It should be warmer. I had it in the refrigerator all weekend. It is called the Cookie Caramel Bar. It is their version of the Twix bar. So I'm going to read to you their script that they read that night. The first layer is a buttery shortbread with the perfect amount of sweetness and crunch. Layered on top of the shortbread is a creamy melt in your mouth caramel. The bars have been dipped in tempered dark chocolate and added a pinch of Himalayan flaked salt for a perfect salty sweet bite. So I hope you enjoy this on behalf of the culinary students. Though they didn't take first place, it was very proud to see them up there and competing. The high school chorale, under the direction of Mrs. Thor, was able to sing for the Macomb County Human Resource Professional last Thursday at the Macomb Intermediate School District. 8 of the honors chorale students, who these students start every day at 6:35 in the morning, bright and early, sang. Their songs were heartfelt and meaningful for the holiday season, some of which were sung in Hebrew and Latin. Their holiday concert is this Thursday at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. I encourage you, if you can attend, please attend. It gave me goosebumps listening to them. They are truly a remarkable group of students. This past Saturday, our middle school student council participated in a Stuff a Bus event at St. Peter's Church. I'd like to thank Mrs. Clausen, our special ed teacher and fellow Lion member, Mrs. Wachinski, our middle school social worker, for coordinating the event with the Richmond Lions, along with our several Richmond middle school student councils. The canned foods that were donated to this event will all have been donated to the Richmond Lions, who will be distributing them this weekend. These students gave a lot of their time, and it's just for such a worthy cause. Also on Saturday, several Richmond High School students and some middle school students participated in the Richmond Lions Club annual Breakfast with Santa. Our students took orders, served meals, cleaned up, and assisted where needed. They did an outstanding job and highlighted the generosity of our students. Secretary in Richmond Lions, Joanne Ferrante, was also there, along with several, as I said, high school students. I'd like to thank Lori Wagner, our bus driver and dispatch. She was also there attending the event. They filled the bus and returned the canned foods to the Richmond Lennox EMS, where they're being sorted as we speak. Last 2 Saturdays ago, December 3rd, the city of Richmond held their annual Santa parade. I would like to thank bus driver Megan Scheibel for driving the bus, Susie Fulgrim, transportation director Lori Wagner, dispatch, and bus drivers Deb Dobbs and Jennifer Rinke, along with mechanics Larry Flaga and Alan Spansky, for decorating the bus. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it was lit up in a lot of yellow lights. It was a great time. I'd like to thank, there were several board members that were able to ride the bus. I know there was others there along the parade route, but board member Telto and Fortuna. Prince Morello was there, teacher Ann Durst was there for riding the bus and attending the event. And I know there was more people in the audience. It's hard to see at night to see, but it was a great night for our community. This past Saturday, we had an ugly sweater. I won't steal your thunder. I don't know if you were going to report on it.
Yep.
But we had the Sandy's Kids fundraiser. For those of you who don't know, Sandy's Kids is an organization in our district to raise money for needy families in our district. There were several people there. Board member Fortuna, Michonne Teltzer was there. Former board member Furtaw was there. Former board member Cunningham was there, who will be back on the board in January. Christina Blanco, our lead child care was there, Jared Gill, Title I 31A paraprofessional, Ann Durst, teacher, Samantha Perry, social worker, Kim Durst, NIM, speech and language therapist, and Mrs. Pinsky, the secretary. I'm probably missing someone because there was a lot of people at the event last week, but it was a great cause and really for an outstanding cause for our students. Ms. Staples, is there anything you'd like to add to this report?
I do. I want to go back to the fact that we did participate for the second year in a row, K through 12, in the International Hour of Code. That is actually a worldwide event. It's an international event in which you can register as being a site location, which we successfully went through. Every single student, K through 12, had 1 hour of computer coding in order to celebrate Computer Science Week. The best part about it this year was that as part of the leadership component in our computer science class at the high school, which we're starting our very first year, the kids were the ones that created a lesson to do with our K through 3 students. So they actually made their own introduction about why computer science is so important and how it's affected them personally. They designed lessons for kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade that would be pertinent for them, getting them excited about computer science. And K-5 all got certificates that they participated. I'm sure you guys saw on Facebook that we did participate as an entire district. And so thank you to that class for paying it forward as leaders and spreading the joy of computer science for everyone here in the district, and all the administrators and teachers that put in time and effort to be able to give that wonderful introduction for our students.
Thank you.
I'd like to remind parents that the last day before the holiday break is Thursday, December 22nd, which is a half day of school. There are no preschool sessions scheduled to run on Thursday. Elementary students will dismiss at 11:15 and middle school and high school will dismiss at 11:05. Beginning that day around noon, the district will be closed to the public from Thursday, December 22nd through Monday, January 2nd. The district will reopen during normal business hours on January 3rd. I'd like to thank Mrs. Zuby. This is your last board meeting. I want to thank you for your service and dedication to our students, staff, and just the community in general. Your contribution this last term and even what you've done with the district, just in all your volunteer, has really helped shape the direction that we're moving in as a district today, so I want to thank you for that. Mrs. Zuby's appointment ends at December 31st, so hopefully there won't be any emergency meetings or anything, but Candace Cunningham will rejoin the board in Mrs. Zuby's spot beginning January 1st for her 6-year term. Finally, I will end with wishing the board, the staff, the students, family of Richmond a safe and happy holiday with the hopes that the new year brings health and prosperity.
Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is items of interest from the board. Sandy, I'm going to start with you.
I was just going to mention going to the Santa Parade and how amazing the bus looked. So I just wanted to thank everybody who worked on decorating the bus and putting the lights on and putting all that together. It was a really fun thing to do. And I also wanted to mention that there was a few of us that went to Macomb County Board meeting in L'Anse Creuse, and it was cool because their culinary arts program did provide the dinner, and some other programs did some like centerpieces and things like that. And I'm very excited for it to be our turn to showcase our programs like that here in our district. And lastly, I was also just going to do a quick mention of the ugly sweater party for Sandy's kids that I attended over the weekend, and I'm hoping that Board Member Talto actually reports more because she'll know more about that. But I wanted to thank everybody who put that together. It's a really good cause. Everybody that came out, there's a lot of people there. I think that's a really awesome cause, and I hope that they were able to raise a lot of money to help those in need.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Yeah.
Danielle?
I'm good.
Angela?
I would just like to thank Board Member Zuby for her commitment to this district as a board member over the years. I know you're committed way beyond a board member. You are a dedicated person to the district, even if you are not a board member. So I do know that you will be contributing beyond here, but you will be missed. Your input will be missed, and I thank you for all the time that you've been there for me throughout the years. I'd also like to wish all the students and the community members happy holidays and staff happy holidays. And that is all I have today.
Thank you. Sherry?
Yes, it is my last meeting, so I just wanted to thank everyone, whoever helped put me here for the 4 years. It's kind of, I've come full circle. I started as a parent of 3 children, classroom volunteer, and sports booster, then PTA officer, and then staff member. So, yes, I'll still be around, but definitely a different capacity, but I appreciate everyone and working with all the people I've worked on over the years. So thank you.
Margaret? I was going to touch on the parade too. The parade was very fun. I attended the competition that the culinary students, so I already ate mine because I knew how good it was, so I didn't wait. But if you, I know Danielle, you were going to come, something happened at the last minute, but if you have a chance next year, when they get to do it, go, because it's really fun to see the kids in their environment and all that they do. It was really neat, and the desserts were very good. And yes, Sandy's Kids fundraiser was Saturday night, and it's a group of us. This is our 9th year of doing it, and all the money that we raise that night goes back into the school system for our needy families. And Saturday night we raised $3,600, which is really, really fun. And we have it at the Cook Hotel, and I have to publicly thank Dave and Cheryl Goslin because they just open up the spot and let us do our thing in there, and so that they can give back to the community as well. And yeah, Brian said Deb and Sandy and Candace were there, and there was some Education Foundation people in that. It's just a really, really feel-good event. We didn't have as many people as we've had previous, but we were still able to raise a lot of money, so it was cool. And when Sherry walked in tonight, I said to her, "So how does it feel? It's your last meeting." And I think you said good, and I said it should feel good. But and we talked about how unless you sit at this table, you don't really realize how much it takes out of you, your personal life, and all of that. And what did you say? I'm going to spend some time with my husband or do more things.
I have more mind space for other
Yes,
things.
for
This takes
other-
a lot of mind space.
Yeah. So just to thank you for that, I think that's something that goes unmentioned a lot. So it's been a lot of hours.
Good. Kelly?
So this is my very first official board meeting, and I just want to thank everybody who voted for me. I am excited to be part of this board and to work with the other board members to ensure that we are doing what is right for our children here and keeping this district keeping the district and moving it in the right direction and making it one of the best districts in Macomb County. As I am reorientating myself to Robert's Rules and Open Meetings Act and stuff like that, I'm sure I'm going to have a few missteps along the way, and I just want to ask the other board members to give me a gentle, kind nudge if I'm about to do something I'm not supposed to do. And this is it's a very important role, and I want to make sure that I am doing it correctly. So that's all. I hope that you guys can help me as I, grow into this role. So, thank you.
Okay. I just want to thank Sherry too for volunteering her time on the school board. We have a bell for you, but because I didn't take care of it soon enough, it's not here. It will be arriving, and we're going to have you back to get your bell for being on the board.
Thank you.
In working when I started on the board, Sherry was always a good person that I know that I could talk to, who would maybe look at things differently or make me slow down and really think things through. And I really appreciated that. I came from a fast-paced world, and I needed to learn that piece. So thank you very much. Several of us, you already heard, attended the Macomb County School Board meeting. One thing I want to stress is that our guest speaker that night talked about attendance of our students and how since COVID, attendance has really risen. And they are strongly encouraging districts to work and develop programs to help get that attendance back down and get our kids in the building. I am proud to say, if you look on Facebook, we have graphs and charts almost every month about where our attendance and what grade level has won it. I remember second grade is one of them. So I know that we at Richmond are really working on this piece to get our students back here in the building. So I thank Ms. Walmsley and whoever's working and whoever's putting those programs together that we noticed it and we didn't have to be reminded, we went after it. I also attended the ugly sweater competition or whatever, ugly sweater party. It was a very good time. I wish more people, would participate and get involved because it really does help our community. And my last wish to all our families and faculty and staff and board and everybody is to have a Merry Christmas. Okay, our next item on our agenda is our approval of the evaluation for our superintendent. I'm looking for a motion.
I motion to approve the superintendent's overall evaluation as effective, representing a consensus of the board as presented in the attached documentation.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I had some comments that I wanted to touch base on. When we were going through the evaluation, for those that don't know, there are 6 factors to Mr. Walmsley's evaluation. And we went through last week for 4.5 hours, going through each component individually and discussing it as a board and going around the table. For component number 4, which is communication and community relations, that was one that the consensus of the board wasn't in agreement with what I felt it should have been. I feel like there could have been some better reflection on what was going on and what has been going on in recent months regarding the district. And so one of my big things with that was many staff members one of the requirements in one of the groups was many staff members do not feel positive about district leadership. Staff and students do not feel stimulated to do their best work. And I felt that that was something that should have been taken into account, and it wasn't, in my opinion anyways. And then also there was another component regarding professionalism and ethics that I disagreed with the outcome of that as well. Where was it? One of the points that I agreed with that wasn't a consensus of the board was that actions and intentions are always clear and transparent, and fairness to staff and students is frequently raised as an issue. Those were my concerns, but not an overall consensus. Consensus being we had to have at least 4 out of the 7 of us. I just wanted to put that out there. I do agree with the overall rating of effective, but those were 2 subcategories that I didn't feel were reflective of my thoughts.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yep.
Anybody else want to make a comment?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually just second what Danielle said, and although since I am brand new on the board, I'm just putting it out there in public record that I didn't have a say in anything, but as an overall, I do agree from sitting in on the meeting that the effective rating is appropriate.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, there were, as Danielle said, components. There were several of the components where Mr. Walmsley was rated highly effective, as consensus of the board, and I feel that those were absolutely deserving. Our district, the instructional area where we're going, we've been going up and up in that area. The area of professionalism and ethics, I will say it, and I will continue to always say it, that Mr. Walmsley is one of the most ethical people I have ever come across in my life. And he does everything that he needs to do for this district, and he does reflect on things when maybe things go sideways, if that's even the correct term, but he's very, very reflective of it. And I leaned more towards in the areas that should have been, that were highly effective, and I think the professionalism and ethics could have been a little higher, but I do, I agree that the consensus of the board was effective.
Anybody else? I just would like to reiterate something that Margaret said. I do believe the district is moving forward in our instructionally. We mentioned several staff members that were great hires, that have brought new programs to this district, just tons of things that are going on that we didn't have when I was here 4 years ago. So I do believe that he's highly effective in that area, and I agree with the effective for the overall eval. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the 10th Amendment of the contract for the superintendent.
I motion to approve the 10th amendment of the contract for the superintendent as presented in the attached documentation.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No, but just Mrs. Michon, so that that it does include a salary increase as every employee received in the district, a salary increase. So Mr. Walmsley is getting one too.
We did a couple word changes, but nothing major.
Yeah, but
okay. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Being no further business, we will adjourn at 8:22.